Guys were mentioned in the keynote. What is different about Strava, the Strava experience on the watch?
Well,
now?
the Strava is an activity tracker, at least part of it is. It's a social network of athletes that work out and are able to compare their activities to one another. And so having Strava on your watch allows you to then record your activity. And importantly now, with the updates, we have access to the heart rate monitor, which allows athletes to train in different heart rate zones, as an example, and to know when they're in a pace where they're actually exerting themselves or not exerting themselves.
There were some interesting features in terms of being able to send your heart rate to someone else, which I don't know, maybe you'd do that once and then never again. But Ben, how big a step forward is what we saw with the watch stuff today?
Well, I think it's very significant. Before, if you go back when the watch was released, all the negative reviews were about performance, which mostly was about these apps that ran on your phone and on the watch. And it kind of feels like the original iPhone when they had web apps as the sweet solution for developers. It just wasn't a great experience, and actual apps are what changed the world, as they talked about today. And I think actual apps will change the experience on the watch significantly.
By the way, all four of us are wearing our Apple Watches. Do you guys feel like this is something you can't live without now that you've been wearing it for a while, or do you feel like it's a nice to have?
I think it's clearly a nice to have, as long as it doesn't connect to the internet. What was interesting is native apps start to kind of cut the cord to the phone, and if this were ever a standalone device, then maybe it would get to that level.
Brian?
Yeah, I think look, it's definitely a device I'm willing to wear and happy to have. Could I live without it? Probably, but I think it's an addition.
I think some parts of it are great. The notifications for me make a lot of sense.
It's not overwhelming?
It's not overwhelming.
Really
maybe that's more maybe like me, but no, it's not overwhelming. And I think the changes they made today make it actually much more functional, especially for native apps is going to be a big deal. A lot of the responsiveness issues, I think a lot of the things that have already popped up as feedback will be addressed.
Obviously the ability to do native apps will improve the experience and the speed and the efficiency of everything, but a lot of things they're talking about are way, way, way far in the future. For example, using your watch as a remote control for your house. I mean, how far away is something like that?
Well, something that involves lots of pieces is going to take a long time, particularly when it comes to the house, because these are big goods that you only buy occasionally. So I think that is the long-term vision. When this is kind of my identity and I interact with my entire environment, that's super compelling, but you need to get there first. And I think what it is now with the notifications, with the complications they talk about today, I can look down and see the sports score, which is one I'm particularly excited about. It gives it a reason to exist until it becomes kind of that center of your existence, which I think is a long-term goal.
Aaron, what's it been like for you guys developing for the Apple Watch? Has it been a good experience? What's been difficult about it?
It's a brand new platform, so that's the most difficult thing. Brand new development environment for us, and so we have to wait for that to mature. Often we're kind of in the weeds while it's maturing, so that takes time. But I think at the end of the day, it's a new form factor. It's a new model for interacting with information, and so that's the thing that I think is innovative here. The platform will develop, more apps will happen, it'll become more capable, so there's a great future for it. And right now, yeah, early days.
Brian, any revisions to how big a business do you think the watch can become now that it's been out there in the wild for several weeks?
Well, we've said this will be the best-selling new product at Apple in its history. iPad sold 19.5 million in the first 12 months. We have 23 million in the first 12 months for Apple Watch. And I think, again, bringing these apps in, the apps is what's going to drive demand here, right? I mean, people look at the watch, it's cool, and there's certain functions that you like Apple Pay.
And there are very few apps that actually work really well on the watch.
Yes, but
of
new
all
apps,
the 1.5 million apps out
new developments, better performance will be huge for Apple Watch for sure.
Ben, what else do you want to see come to the watch?
Well, I mean, I'm excited in the long run, again, to have that connectivity where I don't need my phone at all.
Right.
In the meantime, I mean, you can't overstate the difference in performance that native apps are going to provide. It's the same reason we use apps on our phone, not the web. Just it's a way better experience, and that's going to be the case with these new kinds of apps.